హలో లెర్నర్స్, వెల్కమ్ టు అవర్ ఛానల్ అగైన్. ఈరోజు ఈ వీడియోలో మనం టైప్ స్క్రిప్ట్లో ఉన్న ఈనమ్స్ గురించి నేర్చుకుందాం. సో బేసికలీ ఫోర్ థింగ్స్ వీఆర్ గోయింగ్ టు లర్న్ హియర్. వాట్ ఆర్ ఈనమ్స్, యూసేజ్ అండ్ ఎగ్జాంపుల్ ఆఫ్ ద ఈనమ్స్, వాట్ ఆర్ మిక్స్డ్ ఈనమ్స్, అండ్ వాట్ ఈస్ ఎ వ్యాలిడ్ అండ్ ఇన్వాలిడ్ ఈనమ్ డిక్లరేషన్. రైట్. సో ఫస్ట్ థింగ్ ఫస్ట్, ఈనమ్స్ అంటే ఏంటి? సో ఈనమ్స్ ఆర్ నథింగ్ బట్ నేమ్డ్ కాన్స్టెంట్స్ that are defined under one entity. So before we understand this syntax, we'll understand why enums are came into picture. Then we'll get a clear understanding of why enums are there. Okay. So just keep this one. Maybe I'll copy this. Let's go to our index.tsfile. Okay. Let's put it here. We'll comment it out. We'll understand why that enum came into picture. Okay. Just for the reference. Let's say I define four constants here called north, south, east, and west. Assign some values here 0, 1, 2, and 3. Now what I want is I want to create a function which returns true if the direction is north. Okay, so it will take, I'm designing a function which takes a direction as a parameter and returns true if the direction is, so past direction is north. Okay, so this is our function, right? Now do you see any problem here? Right, so this north can be just a constant, right? But we also don't know what is the type of this direction we are getting. So direction can be anything, right? So let's check. If not, it can be string. You don't know, right? So you can't restrict whatever the parameter that you're going to pass here, right? Obviously, you can give a number. Let's assume you can pass a number to restrict to have one level, but that doesn't help you, right? Let's say I can pass 50, right? It is also invalid. Now, how do you enforce a strict rule on your type? And you can also pass that intent. You can also get that clear intent what we are trying to do. So that's why enums came in picture. So let's convert this into an enum, right? So to convert this into an enum, what we need to do? Just get rid of this. We'll declare an enum, pass all these things inside that, and remove this commas. Just syntax. Put it as a comma, right? Now enum needs a variable name. So under which intent this belongs to. So these are all directions. So I'm just coding it as direction, right? Now we get our original enum. So let's remove these comments. Right. Now you can actually define this parameter, or you can replace this type to a direction, right? Now you see our compiler started already complaining about this 55 doesn't belong to a direction. Okay, that's one benefit. So let's change this direction to direction dot north, right? Now it's complaining that this variable doesn't exist anymore. So let's change this direction to direction dot north. Now let's read our code together. So we declared one enum called direction, which has four values: north, south, east, and west, right? And we refactor our function to accept that direction as a type, and then checking whatever the past direction. If not, we are comparing against the same north. If it's true, return true. Otherwise, return false. Let's console log that output, and we can see the output in terminal. Just calling the function inside console log. So let's get back to our terminal, run the program. We can see it is true because whatever the direction that we are passing, it is not, and we are comparing against the direction of. That's why it returned to true. Now understand the paradigm here. So now we change this direction to be a type. So you can't pass a random value here. So it has to be a type direction. Direction dot east, west, north, or south. So it can be anything. Right now we restrict the scope. So we can't pass a random 55 value here. Right. And we can't pass strings also. Right. Now we change that intent. So that's why the main reason why enums came into TypeScript. Enums can also have default values, or you can provide custom value. Okay. So to understand this, let's go back to our index.ts again. So actually, I'm providing a value here. You don't need to provide the value also. Enums can automatically have a default value assigned. So let's change this values. Not. So as you can see, if enum doesn't have a value, by default it will provide a value with 0. North will have 0, south will have 1, east will have 2, west will have 3. We can check that. Direction dot north. So north should have a 0. North, south, east, and west. So let's try to run this code and then see. Let's remove this again. Run our program. We can see default values 0, 1, 2, 3 assigned here. So enums, even without passing a variable, even without passing a value, by default it will have values starting from 0. You can also have, you can also define custom values like this. Let's take this as an example and remove this code. No. Now let's print the values. Input dot, let's print yes. Input dot no. So it will print yes as a string here, and it will print no as a string there. So let's run it. You see yes and no printed. So as we also talked, enums are, enums can also have mixed values, right? So what exactly mean? It means I can replace this with a 0 also. So when you're accessing input yes, it will actually give yes. When it's input no, it will give no. Sorry, it will give 0. Let's run the program and then see. You see? Yes printed and 0 printed. So enums can be heterogeneous as well. Now what is a valid and invalid enum declaration? So go back to our terminal. Let's say, so this is a valid and invalid declaration because every value is initialized. So it means in every constant has a value inside. Let's say if you don't pass any value, let's say 0, then this will lead to an error. So if you see, enum member must have an initializer. So it means if I don't pass, if I don't pass the string, by default it will start from 0 and then increment the counter and then assign next values later. So this becomes 0 and this becomes 1. But if you are defining a value, let's say if you are defining a value something, then you also need to define a value to the other if it's a string type, because from string it can't calculate the next value. That's why you need to define a value, either no or some value. It has to be initialized. Next parameters you don't need to initialize. Assume let's say none is there, then if you're defining an integer above it, you can actually discard providing a value here. So by default, what TypeScript will do, it will actually increment the counter from 0 and then assign value 1 to none. We can see that in answer. Let's look for none. Now what we expect yes here, 0 here, and 1 here. Let's run our program and then see. See, yes, 0 and 1. Yeah. Another thing also, you can actually provide a computed values to enums also. What it means, you can provide none dot length to it. So this is also a valid declaration. So at runtime or at compile time, what it will do, it will actually compute the length of none and then assigns value to it. So this will have 4 in it. We can actually run it and then see. You see, yes, 0 and then 4 because the length of none is 4. Right. That's it for this video. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share.